Peter King with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. So, Peter, you mentioned Brady. Nice segue. A couple of quarterback issues to get to. First up, Denver. Manning, Osweiler. Looks like Peyton's getting a little healthy. What do you think they're thinking right now?
I think what Gary Kubiak is thinking is exactly what he should be thinking. Which quarterback this week, when we go out to practice on Wednesday and I start looking at these guys, which quarterback gives me the best chance to beat Pittsburgh this week? And I think on the surface, everybody who'd be listening to this would say, well, of course it's Osweiler, and I think it almost certainly is Osweiler. But you also have to ask yourself this question. Brock Osweiler in the last two games has had the ball 26 times, or 26 different drives. He's led one touchdown drive. The Denver Broncos have scored 0 points in the second half of the last two games. They lost to Oakland at home. They have not been, with the exception of the New England game, a very good team on offense since Brock Osweiler took over. They haven't turned it over. So he's not making the huge mistake. But they just haven't been. And look, they weren't great with Manning either. So I'm not saying that. But all I'm saying is that I believe Kubiak is just keeping his options open. And if he sees from Peyton Manning in the next week or so at practice that he's throwing the ball either better or significantly better than he threw the ball against Kansas City a month ago, I think he's going to let him play again. But again, that is a very big if.
Peter, what happens in Cincinnati with A.J. McCarron now having to be at the helm for the next 4, 5, who knows, the foreseeable future with Andy Dalton's broken thumb?
I think the most important thing for McCarron is that the Bengals have the 49ers and the Ravens on their schedule in the last 3 weeks. A.J. McCarron has to win those two games. He has to. Nobody is expecting him to win against Denver. I mean, that's probably unrealistic. But he's got to win the other two games. He's got to go out to Santa Clara this weekend and win that game. And I think Hugh Jackson is going to tell his team and tell his offense, and his message is going to be that, hey, A.J. McCarron won 2 national championships. He's played on a gigantic stage. He's won 36 football games at Alabama. And so I think that the Bengals are going to approach this like, we are going to probably take some of the deep throws out of the offense. We're going to take some of those, that throw that he threw from the right hash to the left sideline that got intercepted by Pittsburgh and returned for a touchdown. That play is not going to be in the game plan Sunday. But I do think that they're going to be able to do enough, and their defense is good enough that they ought to be able to win at San Francisco, and they ought to be able to beat Baltimore in Week 17. And then it's just a matter of hope. And I think that it's realistic to expect that Dalton could return a month from tomorrow when the divisional playoff game would start. And, hey, if they get home field, that's the first game he'd have to play.
Boy. Peter King with us here on Tiki and Tierney, CBS Sports Radio. Peter, we're well aware of the noise surrounding Coughlin. It's been there for a couple of years, but probably amplified this season. We've read, we've heard Jerry Jones' interesting comments this week, kind of pertaining to an underachievement, which I would imagine probably puts Garrett in question a little bit. What do you think is the more plausible scenario next season? Who's got a better chance of coaching their team again, Coughlin with the Giants or Garrett with Dallas?
I don't think Jason Garrett's getting fired. I think what you heard out of Jerry Jones was Jerry Jones, the fan, saying what every fan of the Dallas Cowboys is saying. And what I'm sure that Jason Garrett, when he would drive home after losing his 5th or 6th in a row without Romo, I cannot believe we can't win one game without Tony Romo. And sometimes we forget. I've been around Jones on some game days, and I've been around him when he's had to make emotional decisions about his team. I mean, this is a strange. Owners are fans; they're big fans. Jerry probably Jerry is kind of like you guys in this way. Okay, I'm always amazed that if you can do a talk show for a living, that more talk show hosts don't get into real hot water more often than you do. Because if I talk for 3 hours in a row, I'm going to say something really stupid at some point. I'm bound to. I'm going to say it in
Oh,
probably
we do,
5
Peter.
minutes.
Don't worry, we do.
But what I'm saying is, so Jerry Jones talks to so many people. He does so many interviews. He's on this show or that show, whatever. I mean, he's bound to say some things because his fandom is going to come out, and his frustration in an eminently frustrating year like this one is going to come out. And that's why, to me, I don't take that very seriously. Now, as far as Coughlin goes, hey, I don't know what John Mara is going to do. I really don't. But I do think that you've seen John Mara the day after the last 2 seasons, especially last season, be very, very curt, very frustrated, very unhappy with the status of his team. And I think if they go, whatever, 6-10, 7-9, miss out on the playoffs, whatever, I think that there's a good chance he would do something. But I have no inside information because I don't think right now there is any inside information to be had.
Yeah.